Nobody tosses a dwarf. Yeah. And my buddy, he gave me these to paint as an experiment, so I'm going to try and do... Man, his face is tiny. Thank you for joining. Thank you for the like. I appreciate it. Oh man, that's way too much paint. These are gonna be for my buddy's D&D game. They play like D&D, I guess. I've never actually played it, but I look forward to being invited. I was told that I would be, and I don't mind playing like a session as like a one-off character and then being killed off at the end of the session. You really notice like the difference between like the models of Warhammer. As you can see, like there's a lot of bent plastic on this guy. I don't know where he was gotten. I don't know if they themselves 3D printed this guy or if they bought him like as a, you know, not a just on eBay or something, just to have as a fill-in character for whatever. But you can definitely tell the difference between certain models. Like it's just Warhammer stuff is so intense and its quality, everything's so sharp on it that it's like, I'm gonna try my best, but it's definitely gonna be a challenge because there's like a lot of spots that are not as jumping around. D&D is fun, good for the brain and the spirit. Yeah, I think so too. I think it's, I really do. Can't say enough good things about it, even though I've never actually played, but it looks like a lot of fun. I'm a little bit intimidated by doing all these metal parts because like I feel like that's my biggest weakness right now is doing the metallics. Like on the little pieces I can just literally just put metallic stuff on there, but I'm not really sure how to handle big plates like his back. Thank you for the other like, whoever left that. Appreciate it. Dread Train. When I play D&D, we never used minis or anything like that. It was all imagination with Warhammer. I don't play, I just paint minis. I gotcha. Yeah, I don't mind playing. It's just that like I'm scared of like committing that much time to a game and having to show up and the schedule, all that stuff. But yeah, I would definitely do it as a one-off character and just get in and get out, you know. I'm also the I like to paint basically and collect them and sell them. That's basically my goal. Is I just enjoy the creative process of creating things basically. I hear it. Yeah. You guys have any advice for me in terms of like doing the metallic parts? Like I'm almost thinking about just faking the metal and doing it the way I draw metallics. Like basically do gray maybe, and then like do white highlights and then black shadows and kind of make it all look metal. But I'm not. I know how to do it on paper. I don't know how to translate that to a 3D model. And so, but if I just slather it in like silver or a metallic paint, it's going to look really flat, and I don't know how to fix that. I am fairly new to painting though. Um, I just did a Ruthven and Gretchen set, and that's the extent of my knowledge, basically. Now that I'm looking at them, there's so much metal on them that I'm almost debating on whether I should like just do like aggressive edge highlighting with metal or something. I don't know. Like I don't know how to like. Painting metal is hard. It's sort of difficult for me. But since it's not really a commission or anything, and I'm told just to experiment, I'm gonna kind of use this as a training training kind of exercise, and just sort of, I'm just gonna paint him, I guess, a lot of silver, like this brighter kind of metallic, and then go from there and just see if I can like kind of make it look dynamic, I guess. Get this paint shook up. See, if I just slather them in like metallic color, it's all gonna be the same, and I'm not sure how to fix that. Probably should have cleaned up that line there. I think I'm gonna have to try like doing a stonewall gray on his armor, and then just basically trying to draw in the metallic look, because I just don't see how else it would work. Like I said, I'm totally experimenting here because doing metallics in a 3D model is like something I really struggled with on the guns of the Gretchen, and so I'm totally just kind of winging it right now. This is definitely a challenge for me. Just trying to do light gray layers, and then I'm gonna do highlights and then dark and gray to sort of simulate some kind of metal looking. I just wanted to change the title of the video to live miniature model painting, so people who think I'm painting them Is there too much white? I feel like it's flooding out all the detail. I got like God rays going on from my lamp for some reason. I don't know how to get rid of that. It's like a really obnoxious amount of it. Thank you for the likes, guys. I really appreciate it. Oh, hello, Francois Marion. I think I'm getting your name down right. I'm really struggling with the metallics here. That was the hardest part on the corrections. I only did like one gun that I thought looked really decent on the Gretchens, but the rest of them I really, and this is all, basically this guy's all armor, so I'm gonna really kind of learn through this and just hopefully I can pick up a little bit of a skill. Francois. Is that like hello in French or something? I honestly have no idea. I'm not even being funny, I don't know what that means. Ah, yes, French. The language of love, right? I was reading a book about John Adams and how he went to Europe to get help from the French and secure a loan from the Dutch. It was pretty interesting. I mean, I almost finished the book. You know, I didn't read the whole thing, but I am familiar with American Revolution. I almost read an entire big book about it. It was actually, I'm gonna go, now that I have a lot of free time, I should probably actually go and finish it. But yeah, John Adams, he was a pretty badass guy. I'm basically doing like so you're familiar with Swamp Fox then? I'm not. I don't know what that's referring to. For some reason, your messages like everything was showing up on my phone. I might have to restart the thing on my phone. Because like I can see it on my computer, but I can't see it on my my phone, which is where it's way more convenient to see things. Let's see if it'll load up this time. Okay, there we go. I can see your comments again. No, what is the Swamp Fox then? Is that referring to one of the big people back then? But I'm just starting to read about American history and all the like the revolution and stuff. He was like a lawyer and he defended the British when they were slaughtered a bunch of people, and it was like frowned upon, but he was like, no, this is America, we stand for what's right, or something along those lines. And then he was not able to amass a fortune because he gave so much to his country, because he was busy being a political guy. The Swamp Fox learned to fight from the Native Americans and then taught American revolutionaries how to fight hence the father of modern warfare, guerrilla warfare is why. Ah, I see, I see. Yeah, the Native Americans, they were quite skilled at combat. Because as far as I understand, the British were still fighting in strict formations and all that kind of, you know, good old European get in the line and kind of advance in formation. We don't fight in big columns of soldiers in open fields like the British did for hundreds of... Yeah, but it kind of makes sense for them, right? Well, I mean, I guess it doesn't since they lost, but I'm just saying, I guess that type of warfare... Did that stop working? Did the columns... Because the columns of soldiers in Europe kind of was like a big thing around Napoleonic era, right? And I wonder if it had something... I wonder if it stopped working because of rifled barrels or something, because it's like... Why would they ever have done it? Obviously, it was like somewhat of a functional strategy in Europe. So I kind of wonder sometimes why. They continued on with that strategy if it was failing miserably. I also sometimes wonder why the British didn't have archers behind the rows of, like, the riflemen shooting over their heads, you know? Just to lay some fire down. Because, like, I mean, I know bows were outdated by that time, but I feel like they weren't really. They were, like, you were still in like, quite the range for a bow. You could just have the, you know, third column just shoot arrows over their heads or something. I mean, I know what I'm saying is silly and probably wouldn't be practical, but bow takes more training than a rifle. That's true. That's true. Right, anyone can pull a trigger. Or you can probably get someone to be a reasonably good infantryman, especially like back then when they were just doing like basic stuff in like what, like a couple weeks basically. You could, you know, and back then a lot of people hunted anyway, so it was like they were already probably familiar with you know, it's not like today. If you take some kid and you have to train him, he probably has no clue what's going on, you know, and you have to literally get him into shape and train him all the basic stuff, whereas back then people were probably already kind of seasoned hunter people. But yeah, I'm gonna finish that book. I really am. I did go back and try to watch Critters and that movie you suggested, but when I say I watch movies, I mean like when I say I watch movies, I basically turn the movie on and let my eyes rest until I fall asleep. So it was like very I remember like a few pieces of each movie. Rifles that were in fashion back then would have required a breadth of knowledge and skill to reload on the battlefield, and arquebus is hell or nearly impossible for a single person. Yeah, I mean, didn't they have like reloaders basically next to them sometimes? Even in the Civil War, there was like basically the people that were like designated, you know, more marksman kind of people that had like someone load the rifle while they were shooting. I mean, yeah, those rifles, what, it took like a minute to reload it or something? I mean, I'm not trying to pretend to be an expert, I'm just saying, like, it was more challenging than now, since you had to put a cartridge inside the rifle and load it with, like, a stick, and it could get wet. It was, you know, susceptible to all kinds of weather conditions, and the rifle could just not work. Whereas today the rifles are like basically amazing. Like I went out and shot my 9mm with a buddy who's like really into guns, and I was like, I shot guns before, but I was reassured and shocked again at just how crazy accurate even like a 9mm pistol is. Like if you're really good, it's like it's crazy. They're like little laser beams. I'm thinking I'm gonna make the chainmail look a little bit more like put a little bit more of a bronze look to it. You know what I mean? To have some differentiation, so there's like more than just like gray that I'm gonna try and attempt to look metallic, and then use metallic for like hyper highlighting or something. I think that's the only direction. No, the flintlock rifle of the Revolutionary era was pretty simple one-man job, but you need big muscles to fire 80 LB draw longbow. I agree with you about the longbow. You did need more training, but check this out. Say you had like just like grenadiersmen, but they had bows. Like this is what I would do. I would have the grenadiersmen, instead of having them carry like heavy grenades really close to the front line, have them stand in the back and shoot like put like an explosive on an what is it called, like a crossbow or something, and then like just cause havoc. You know, just put explosives on some sort of Not to mention, returning fire would probably unsteady those hands, adding gunpowder. If I'm not mistaken, an influent platoon would have multiple rifles preloaded, typing too slow to reply lol. Yeah, it's a lot easier to sit here and just say what if, you know what I mean, for me to be like, well, why didn't they just do that? Because like I'm sure they tried a lot of things that failed, and I'm sure like, you know, I'm sure they would have tried every variation of everything to, you know, that would have worked. But I'm just saying, I would still have longbowmen with explosive bow rounds. You know, just have a charge on it, like, or you know, because I'm sure you could have like a lit up little grenade on the end of a stick that you shoot out. Lol agreed, a good 15-second lead. Pirates had grenades in the 1600s, so why not? Yeah, I mean, maybe the British were just like too proud or something. Like it was on. I know they were like super into fighting with honor and stuff, and they were like super upset about Americans doing the guerrilla warfare stuff. You know, I don't know if they're still salty about it, but I'm happy with the way things turned out, because I get to live in this country now, and not under the Queen's rule or whatever that, you know, it's called. So I'm pretty happy with the result. Warheads are difficult to manufacture and transport. The gun is the most. You're probably right, because you have to standardize and simplify things, right? For them to work, it's probably better to have sort of a standardized group, you know, same ammunition, same food packages, same, you know, same little widgets that you replace on the guns, instead of having a bunch of diverse units that are trained in different ways. So you're probably right about that. Just have everything completely standardized. And, you know, and if you have, their men are more expandable when they're like a cheaper unit. So to some extent, you don't want to make everyone like a super soldier. Because a lot of times you just need a lot of meat bags to just take up, you know, soak up the fire. Like I know I'm being dark here, but sometimes you just need to win a war with numbers a little bit, you know. I know that when the crossbow came out, I can't remember who was using it, if it was the British or the French, but there was a whole big thing back then about basically you could arm a peasant with a crossbow and they could just start taking out nobles, and the Europeans were super upset about, you know, just because they weren't used to knights just dying to basically, you know, a peasant class warrior. And so that disturbed Europe. Men are more expendable when it's cheaper. It's crazy the perspective war games can give you on historical context. No wonder there's no altruistic kings. It's great. I think so, it's not. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm just saying that sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. You know. Like if you're less like when the Russians were, you know, less technologically advanced than the Germans, like they really just had to throw numbers at them, you know what I mean? Like that's just what you have to do at that point. The crossbow put an end to mail plate knights on horses. The crossbow put an end to plate mail knights on horses. Yeah, I mean, basically, it ended the it didn't end the warrior class, but it ended that basically era of having really elite soldiers on the battlefield. And from what I understand, banking, the change in how you can fund armies, like in the 18th century, changed the ability to fund wars with debt, and so you had a lot more numerous armies that weren't like small forces that were of elite troops. It was more like you had thousands of troops now on the battlefield because you could now, as an empire, basically be able to fund basically bigger wars. And so we went from having like really, not we, I mean the Europeans, we went from really advanced soldiers, they're trained their entire life, to just basically, you know, conscripting peasants, because that was now just affordable to just, you know, send a lot of people to war, basically. Obviously, my knowledge of history is very surface level. You know what I mean? I'm just looking at things and talking about it. So don't take anything I say super seriously. Really, that was the rifle, not the banker. Lots of Japanese history about the ended warrior class because rifles could be put into hands of farmers quickly and cheaply. You're right. No, I agree. This model has so much compressed, unclear detail that like my brain is like, I miss painting Warhammer units because they are so much more. It was cool checking in, but I gotta head out. Enjoy your Dawi. Thank you so much. Appreciate the likes and everything, and the conversations. As a combat veteran, I'm very much interested in the history of weapons and warfare. Yeah, I think it's very cool. Although I'm not a combat veteran. I do enjoy. I can talk about this. I can not know what I'm talking about and talk about it for like hours. Thank you for your service, by the way. I appreciate that. I worked with a guy who was he was a mortar guy in the U.S. Army. He was a pretty cool guy. He told me we went to school together, and I had no recollection of him. He was like, "Yeah, I don't know if you remember me, but." He went on a totally different path in life. He joined the infantry, and he was a mortar guy. And he told me some pretty dark stuff about his experiences, but not, you know. He ended up taking too many explosions, and he got TBI or something like that. Basically, he was in too much combat over too long a time, and he just got decommissioned from too much head trauma. But yeah, it's he told me some pretty cool stuff about the military. He was an infantry or a mortarman? I don't. I mean, I know he told me he did mortar stuff. I guess he was a mortarman, but he would go out with infantry. I forget what his thing was, like the letter and the number that was I can probably text. Well, I'll ask him later, but what his thing was. But from what he told me, he would go out with the infantry and and basically operate with them. He wasn't like in the base or anything. He was, well, I mean, he was in the base and in the base, but he would go out with the infantry on missions and stuff like that. So that's. $13B, that might be it. 13, that might be it. He said he had to carry a lot of weight, and he's a thick boy too. He told me that he basically shrunk like half an inch from his service because he weighs a lot. He like weighed quite a bit, and then he also carried like a lot of weight. I just think it's crazy how much they require you to like carry with you in the military. It's just, you look at those, I just don't see how you could do that for for a number of years and not sustain like injuries just from the weight of all the equipment. I wonder if the Romans had like the similar issues, because it's like they were, they had swords and armor, and I'm sure they had like caravans carrying the goods and stuff, and that was a neat time, wasn't it? B11, 13, F2B. I honestly don't know what the only part I'm recognizing is the B13. Is that like the full? No, Romans had slaves. But can you trust slaves with your equipment though? Wouldn't you like? They had them in their like army groups, like carrying equipment. Because I don't know if I would trust those guys. If you go out into when they were invading Germany or something, like, would you really want people who are don't like you because they're obviously you own them. You know, I can see like slaves on fields where they where they're sort of stuck, but if they're like with you on patrol, walking with the army, they could just like walk off into the forest. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if I would want that. Man, the Romans though, they changed the world. They really did. Like, you see like Roman stuff in today's architect, influence of their architecture. It's like they really put a trust them, not ye tie them. They're called a porter. Oh, okay. I'm sure they did that stuff too. But like I was saying, I think Romans were like, I mean, they definitely, like you see like Roman architecture influence all over Europe. They like they changed a lot of things for like forever, basically. Of course, all my knowledge comes of Roman warfare comes from playing Total War games, so the only like reason I know where like any of European countries are is because I played, Rome Total War 2 and things of that nature. I'm an air assault infantry forward observer, B11 infantry F13F forward observer, B2 air assault. That sounds crazy dangerous. Because like I heard the observers are like, I mean, you're basically calling in and see, okay, like you're basically observing the front line. You know what I mean? Like this seems like, and jumping out of an airplane. That's a lot. Out of helicopters, airborne is airplanes. Oh. Okay, air assault. Okay, I gotcha. I think like everyone that joins the military, because like they had a lot of that in like commercials, like in the 2000s, is like the Marines and stuff, and the infantry like jumping out of helicopters. I think everyone that joins kind of imagines that that's what they're going to be doing, is like all that really cool stuff. But then you see them jumping in the water with a rifle and like all the gear. I'm like, I'm out. I'm out. I couldn't do that because like I can't swim very well. There's no way you could put 80 pounds of like gear on me and drop me off a helicopter into water, and it would just be the end of me. Like that would be the end of my life, just right there. I can't swim very well, so. Okay, that's a bag right there. I'm gonna color that brownish. I got you. I can't read that out loud because of YouTube. Hope you understand, but I know what you're saying. Yeah, yeah, I know. I agree with you. I mean, I'm kind of in the same boat. I don't know if I would necessarily want to do combat infantry job. You know what I mean? Like, that seems like something to think twice about if you're gonna really be dedicated to that. I have to bow before you because I'm impressed. Like I don't know. I'm just being honest. Like I don't know if I would wanna, you know, if even if I could physically endure that, and not get a heart attack during training or whatever. I don't know if that's the life I would want because it seems like a really dangerous life. And I'm sure there's like sleep deprivation and all that. I'm just that's true. Yeah. Retiring at 30 does sound very appealing. I still gotta do a little bit of hustling and grinding, but hopefully I'm out of the immediate ret race, or I can get out of that and not have to go back to a traditional job. Almost stayed and switched my job to 37F Psychological Warfare Operations Station in Antarctica. Antarctica. That's very cool. It's like you said psychological warfare. Is that just like your propaganda artist, or is that like you're trying to confuse the enemy or in some way? Like how does that work? Yeah, no, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. both in Antarctica is experiments on isolation and darkness for manned trips to Mars. Really? They were thinking that far ahead? How long does it take to... I'm just surprised that they thought that they were thinking about that. Couldn't it seems like you could do like isolation experiments anywhere, right? If you build like a warehouse and an isolation chamber or something, like, does it really need to be in Antarctica? $18 months each way, that's a long time. It really needs to be 100% isolation for 18 months to to test the subjects to see like what a person can endure. Was it like isolation with another person for 18 months, or was it just isolation where it's just one person? I mean, I'm pretty comfortable with being alone, like relatively speaking, compared to like most people. I'm pretty good. Small groups, yeah, okay, I sort of figured, right? Because you like sending one person alone for 18 months seems like for sure that person is gonna lose their mind, for sure. They're not coming back the same, even if they came back. Four to six guys, a flight crew for the Mars mission. Were they really planning on doing that? Because, like, some people don't even think we went to the moon. And I'm like, what's the point of going to Mars? Like, if we can't logistically support a colony there, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not against going to Mars or anything. I just don't understand what the point is. If I don't think we have the technology even now to really send enough starships to have enough supplies going there to sustain a colony. And if we're just going there to like say we put a man there, it's like, I think we should go when we have like the when we can support a colony and start growing out there. That would be like really interesting. Still are working on it, I'm sure, right? Do you think Elon Musk is legit? Do you think he's gonna get us to? Do you think because his rockets are pretty impressive. They land backwards back to land, right? Which cheapens like you don't have to you have like reusable engines or whatever, so it becomes like way cheaper for spaceflight. You think he's gonna be part of the equation as far as getting us to? Because it seems like he's just alone leading the charge on like space development. I mean, really, there's not even another nation that can come close to touching Elon Musk. Yeah, launch and land a ton of gear, but you need to have someone unpack it and plug it all in to get the colony started. Yeah, I would like to. I know I like comfort. Like, I know that I wouldn't make it like as a candidate. I just don't have that level of motivation to be isolated for 18 months. Then, all the other things that are going to go into it. I just don't see it happening for me. Like, I would go to a Mars colony once everything's like nice and established and like it has relatively low casualty rate for going there. Then maybe I would go. 18 months each way. You can get a 9-month trip one way every like 7 years. Wow, that would be crazy. That's crazy. Honestly, I think if people were born on Mars, just think of the cultural difference there would be between, like the cultural difference between a person that's born on Mars and their entire life is like this intense, basic, being in a very hostile environment where you have to be super disciplined all the time. You really can't afford mistakes, and your supplies are limited. And then you would look at an Earthling who are, very spoiled. I just think like in a generation or two, you would have a completely different style of person on Mars. They would not be able to identify with an Earth human. Just the difference would be so staggering, and you would have basically you like in a very short amount of time, that population, because of the selection process, would because you'd be sending your best Americans there, right? Like the top tier people who would have kids, and very shortly thereafter they would become like, relative to Earth people, like very advanced, let's say, right? Because they're like made up out of the best material essentially from mankind, right? Because I would assume American astronauts that would be sent there are like the top tier, healthiest humans. So like very quickly they would be so different from us in discipline and outlook of life. But yeah, if it's possible, I'm for it. I'm all for going to Mars, if I'm being honest. Like, I support human expansionism. I'm a supporter of humans going to the edge of our limits as far as expanding humankind across the galaxy. like this is how much how much I believe in human expansionism. Is if you've ever seen the movie Starship Troopers, I like unironically want that to be the reality in the future. That would be a fun twist of fate for humanity to end up fighting like giant bugs in space. Like I really want that to happen. I read the book Starship Troopers, which is a lot more boring than the movie. Of course, I've seen it. It was a huge 40. I was a huge 40K fan when it came out, so I saw it in theaters back in the day. That's got to be like one of my more favorite movies of all time. They actually made a RTS game about it, which I really enjoy playing, where you command the little troops around. The only good bug is the dead bug. I'm doing my part. Would you like to know more? The propaganda in the film is my favorite. Yes, yes, the propaganda was the best. It had that like 1950s vibe a little bit to it. And the action was really good too. Like it holds up as a straightforward action movie, and it's, you know, and as a satirical movie. Although honestly, I don't even watch it as satire. I just straight up, I just like the movie. I watch it without the sarcasm. It would be really fun if they brought back Johnny Rico. If they like brought the movie back and had like played half the movie through and then have, because the guy's still alive. He was doing an interview recently because of the game that came out. It was a first-person shooter, and bring him back halfway through the movie as like a seasoned commander or something like that. That would be a lot of fun. I don't know if the how many of the other actors are still alive, but they really need to get it together and like make like a really good sequel. Just disown the second and third movie. Just pretend that didn't happen. Just apologize, and then just continue the story from there. I'm gonna bust out some bronze and start painting the chainmail a little bit. Let's see what kind of color I got here. Should I risk it and do polished gold? Or is am I being totally crazy right now? You said The Gate. I actually did start watching it, and like I said, gold, brown, then gold. That could work. But I know I actually have. What is this here? Snake leather. I could have swore that I had yeah. You said The Gate, and that was I got to the point where they lifted the kid up and he was floating. But I'm gonna go back and watch it tonight. I just like I said, sometimes when I watch movies, I'm really just saying that like I lean back, I rest my eyes when the movie starts, and then I find that the movie's over. But man, that's gonna bother me. I know I got bronze. Oh, let me go see if I do. Sorry about that, guys. It's called Brass Scorpion. Brass Scorpion. We'll see how it goes on there. This is what the color looks like when it's painted on. You can see some of it is spilled out. I think that's gonna look okay, right? It's got a little bit of. I mean, it's a horror movie for kids. Not super amazing, but it has cool claymation monsters in it that makes the movie pretty fun. Yeah, I'm a really big fan. The way they did movies back then with the without the modern glazing everything over with modern CGI was really cool. It's just really cool to see, and a lot of it holds up pretty well. It's just that expertise is no longer there to do these kind of things. But yeah, I agree with you. I really enjoyed rewatching Critters, and then when I was watching Gremlins 2, a lot of that stuff looked really good. But that's just me. Yeah, it's pretty dark though for a movie made for 10-year-olds. I would say when I was my home country before I came to the United States, because we got shown movies that were like basically, the reason I saw those as a kid was because we got them like 15 years after they were basically already done in the United States, so that's why I saw like those movies. But basically, yeah, I would say when I was 9 years old watching like Terminator or all of those American movies, I would say they were, I had to look away and turn it off at times. It's like definitely was on the harder edge of what you'd want to see as a 9-year-old. Alright, let's see. I'm gonna try and just hit the outside of the... I'd say though my favorite movie of all time when I was a kid was probably RoboCop. I like literally wanted to be RoboCop when I grew up. Like that was my favorite movie of all time. When I was a kid, probably. As a kid, that was my favorite movie. Akira, yeah, Akira is a good one. I need to go back and rewatch that one. It had some revolutionary level of animation. Although to be honest, I'm not like super into anime. But like they definitely produced like there's some like movies that they made that were like really good. It's really I'm really liking where this is going with chainmail. It's really making the armor pop a little bit. I think I'm gonna do leather pants too, because if I highlight these pants and keep them black, it'll just take away from the armor. Man, this bronze or whatever it's like, or brass, it's really making me happy right now. And that area is like large enough, I might be able to sort of kind of dry brush it at the end with gold or something, just to give it a little bit of a pop. I honestly wasn't sure how I was gonna do on this model because it's so like Warhammer is so good. It's like their models are so crisp that it's like you understand the shape that you're doing. This has like a lot of like really intricate detail, but it's sort of all, it's kind of melds into itself, and so you can really tell the difference between like the Game Workshop models and like something that's something else. I like hand-drawn, full feature-length animated films. Not really into anime. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. Is like a lot of, they have good films, like especially like back in the like 80s and 90s. It seems like out of that era, there was like a lot of masters, and they made like really good films. But anime, I'm not against it. I just, for some reason, every time I see it, I just can't. My brain can't lock on it and just get into it for some reason. I'm almost debating on painting the inside of the braces the same brass color. Almost. Dragon Ball Z ruined anime for me before anime really became the trash it's been for 20 years. I remember, you know what I did as far as anime goes, you know what I did enjoy is like Dragon Ball Z, or not Dragon Ball Z, Gundam, the older Gundam stuff. I really did kind of enjoy that back when I was like a teenager. I'm just sort of thinking about where I should go next from here as far as. Funny enough, I was playing Helldivers 2 at the end of the night with my buddy, and we found a guy, or we found a team of people that want their Warhammer units painted, and they're willing to pay commission. I don't know how, if they were just like drunk and high, and that's why they got into that conversation. But like, it might come through. We exchanged emails, so we might end up doing. I might end up doing an actual like commission from just the randomest find ever. Just randomly playing video games, and we got on the topic of Warhammer, and they're like, "Yeah, we got units we want painted," and I'm like, "Hey, you know what? I might be able to help you out. I'm not into giant mecha. I much prefer Ghost in the Shell, cybernetics, or bubblegum crisis power armor." I got you. Yeah, Ghost in the Shell was a that was definitely a good one. Like I was only exposed to things like basically that were on Adult Swim back in the day. So like just whatever they played on TV. I never really went and chose anything. It was just whatever the TV showed me is kind of what I got into. Wicked Commission is validation. Well, it was. I told the guy. I told the guy I'm relatively new to painting, and that I'm not. I told the guy I'll show you photos of my Gretchen or Ruthrund and Gretchen, and I'm like, if you like the quality, that's what I can reasonably do. But yeah, he's like, yeah, I'll look at your work and stuff. So I told him honestly, I'm like, I want you to see my work and where I'm at skill wise before we agree to anything, because I don't want him to walk away thinking he signed up for something like some expert level, high level painting, where I'm not at that level yet. Uh, near sci-fi future is my favorite jeering. I can't say that word, but yeah, I do. How you know what Helldivers is like that. It has a lot of like automatic weapons, like basically modern weapons, and it has a lot of it has the laser stuff too, but it's kind of like it's still in the era of it still has like a lot of the realistic weapons mixed in with some future weapons. So I think Helldivers 2 is like a really I really really enjoy that game. I agree with you. Like what was it? What were Starship Troopers is a perfect example. It has has the machine guns. It has infantry. It still has like the infantry stuff, like all the stuff you want to see. But there is like it has this layer of the futuristic stuff too. And I agree with you that I like it to be based enough in reality to where I can like buy into it mentally. Lord of the Rings Dwarf. No, this is a generic D&D one that my buddy gave me to like practice on basically, and I'm just gonna do it for free for him because I got nothing better to do. But yeah, he does look very Lord of the Ringsy a little bit. I got another like. Thank you, whoever liked the stream. I appreciate it. Nice. Yep. Helldivers is way too far future, like 20, 50 years into the future. I gotcha. Let's see. Oh yeah, I wanted to finish up this rib right here. For me, I don't like when the future gets to the point where there's no gunpowder machine guns. Like once you go beyond that, and there's not like any normal weapons anymore mixed in with like the futuristic stuff, I can't buy into it. If it's all lasers, I'm out. Which is kind of like, not to say anything bad about Star Wars, but that's kind of why I never really liked Star Wars. It's too much. It's too like pew pew. Like it's just all very. It's not. It's too. For me, like Star Wars is the type of franchise that I would say is too far out for me. I still enjoy it for what it is. I don't dislike Star Wars, but it's like I don't like it as much as like Starship Troopers or Helldivers. I'm gonna have to try and bring all this gray out eventually and turn it into something that's gonna look like metal because I didn't want to slather the entire suit with just metallic because that would look terrible, and I really struggle with the metallics right now, and so I'm just doing a gray kind of building up gray, and then I'm just gonna do highlights where and basically the way I draw metallic is how I'm going to try and do this. Even though it didn't really work on aggression for me, but hopefully here I can kind of find a better strategy that will kind of look good for me. I like stuff like Blade Runner, Deus Ex Machina, Stargate, Planet of the Apes kind of stuff. You know what? I love Blade Runner. I like a lot. I even like the new movie. I really like. Honestly, I enjoyed the new movie a lot. Yeah, I'm definitely a fan of the dystopian societies that have are where things have gone completely off rails. Let me turn the music back on if anybody cares about that kind of thing. All right. Yeah, you know what, the movies Mad Max I was okay with, but there's a game called Mad Max that I really, and I honestly, I for some reason I've never really enjoyed desert movies, like basically that environment. But there's a game called Mad Max that came out a while back, and I still sometimes reinstall it on Steam and play it because I really, that game for some reason, the car, the romanticism of being like this lone wolf in the desert, kind of surviving, that really appealed to me, and that game like really sold that fantasy. Even though I'm not a big like desert guy, if the whole movie's in the desert, I'm like, bro, come on. But yeah, I did enjoy the latest movie. It was a pretty good. Oh no, I mean the first new movie. I didn't see the second one either. Or the second new movie. I saw the first one that came out. I thought it was alright. Although it's been a while, so. Yeah. Actually, I'm kind of excited to go see that new Alien movie. I just saw the trailer, and I love the Alien franchise, and even the Prometheus stuff too. Like, even though it didn't go in the direction I would have liked, but I like that they're bringing it back to like the first Alien movie. It looked like they're trying to basically replicate the magic of the first movie. The only thing that worries me is I saw a lot of like action scenes instead. They look like there's a lot of action scenes instead of horror scenes, is what it looked like to me. So I'm a little worried it's going to be a CGI fest where like the face hugger jumps out and then the camera stops and then slowly turns around the face hugger, and then like there's a shotgun at the other end, and then it gets blown into pieces. Like, I'm afraid it's going to be like that kind of a movie instead of Alien, where you're being hunted by a super creature that is perfectly designed organism. I'm gonna go see it on Friday. Yeah, I'm gonna go see it. And you know what? We should talk about that movie when when we get back, because I'm really excited, and I don't want them to ruin the franchise. But I'm really afraid it's gonna be more action and less horror. Anasty, buddy, are you still here? We're gonna go see that movie, right? Yeah, the whole life cycle idea of, I love creature movies in general, but I love that the alien has the idea of, it has a life cycle. You get to explore the face hugger, then it comes out of your stomach, then it turns into a drone, and then you learn about the queen, and so there's like this build up. I really enjoy that personally, is not just seeing a scary creature, but understanding its sort of how does it work, you know. I like all the alien films, including Three: Resurrection, Prometheus, and Covenant. Yeah, like I said, I honestly, even a lot of people spoke badly about the Prometheus or whatever. I still really enjoyed it. Honestly, I still really enjoyed that movie. Um, Overall, I wish that if I had a complaint, and I'm, obviously there's going to be some kind of complaint, it's that when they found the engineer, and this could be just due to lack of my mental ability to understand what was happening, but like when they, well, spoilers for those who haven't seen it, you should have seen it by now, but basically, when they found the engineer, and he gets up, and they exchange, it just seems like that needed to be a moment of realization and understanding something deeper about this universe. Because like when you saw in the first Alien film, you see the engineer infused into the ship, and it's like it was like such a magical moment. You know what I mean? You're wondering what this is, how does it fit into the human universe? It was just so dark and so twisted, and like we've been waiting for this moment to meet the engineer. And then he turns out to be like a bully or something. Like he just goes and starts ripping people's heads off, and I'm like, what? Like, you couldn't have had there needed to be dialogue there, or something more epic needed to happen, where he reveals some great truth that the engineers are trying to achieve. You know what I mean? Like some great truth needed to be revealed there about the alien universe, not he's big and mean. I don't know. Again, like maybe I didn't understand some greatness there, but I was really like kind of bummed out that he just got up and kind of started hitting people with his fists. I'm like, nah, dude. And I really liked David. I thought David in those movies was like really really good. I enjoyed that character a lot. And the whole part where he asks the Wayland guy, why did not, well, he asked to, he was trying to figure out why he was created and struggling with his whole, in the same way that the humans wanted to find the truth about who or why he was created. David wanted to know the same thing, and then there was that moment where he's on the ship and he's talking to the one guy, and he's like, "Oh, because we could." And I think that's when David's programming got skewed, and he decided to start offing people because he's like, "Well, then I'll go and create things and start killing." It's like I'll do whatever I want then. Well, that movie was fan service that still had to appeal to idiots who know nothing about the franchise. Yeah, I mean, you gotta. Yeah, you're right. You gotta make movies that you know, that appeal. You know, they gotta sell tickets. I want to show you guys what I'm going to be painting next. So they gave me this resin print of this guy, of this like work guy. I'm not sure where he's from, but he's like he was resin printed from like a resin printer, like this really high quality print. And I'm like, I'll paint that, you know what I mean? So that eventually, once I finish the 3 dwarves, I'm gonna be painting this guy, and I'm like super excited because that's gonna really flex the, you know, I'm gonna go to the edge of my skill level basically for this guy. So I'm like uber excited, and I feel like it's gonna get viewers because it's like so aesthetically, you know, complicated and compositionally like well designed, that I'm like, this is gonna be like this is gonna probably take me some time to finish, but I'm really excited about doing this guy right here. Kind of want to leave him here, but I don't want to get paint on him. I'm gonna basically kind of start hitting up those pants from here. And I still gotta finish that flip. Okay, I officially hate this model more now. You mean like the bent sword? There's a lot of things on it that are flawed. I just picked out 3 random things that, you know, from the shelf that I just said, hey, I'll do whatever, you know. But it's definitely not the sharpest. It's definitely got like a lot of flaws in it. It's definitely a lot harder to paint this than Warhammer stuff. Warhammer stuff is very clear on where stuff is at. Oh, I'm building an Invictus warsuit. Nice. The bent sword could add character, yeah. It's just a model that's seen too many battles on the D&D. My buddy has he has entire shelves and shelves and shelves of 3D printed models. I'm not sure where they got this from, but basically he's like, you can paint any of these. And I'm like, let me start out with something small and manageable, and we'll see what the result is like and see if you want to do commissions later or whatever. And I'm like, I just picked 3 random dwarves, and I'm like, I'll start here and just kind of start learning. But yeah, I can definitely see the difference, and I kind of got lazy and I didn't remove that seam line on the shoulder, and it's like super visible because I got lazy there. But yeah, it's also not. This isn't like a super important model, you know what I mean? Like, they're just giving me stuff to practice on, so that's why I wasn't super duper concerned. No legs on the warsuit sucks. Maybe he wiped it off a rock golem or something, and is now favoring that hammer. Yeah. It's also this resin. It's like soft. You can like move it around a little bit, which is like weirding me out a little bit. I'm like scared to break things on it. Alright, I'm gonna move on to brown and paint those, paint the leather brown. I'm gonna go ahead and start painting his pants. I don't want to leave them black and highlight them. I don't think that's gonna look good, really. Shake that up. There's no way to do this without making it look weird, but shake, shake, shake. All right. Oh, I hate that soft resin. It's why I stopped buying McFarlane artist-proof Marines after my first order. Yeah, I'm not. It just weirds me out for some reason. It's not terrible. Like it functions fine. I just don't like it. At larger scale, it doesn't find the paint doesn't want to stick to it and it bends so the paint cracks. Yeah, that's understandable. It's actually a good point. And I didn't even think about that. If it moves around, the paint is going to take damage immediately. Do you guys have any ideas of what movie I should watch after I get done streaming? I think I'm gonna go back and rewatch The Gate just because I fell asleep the first time. Because usually, like I said, when I turn on the movie, it's basically rest my eyes time, and a lot of times I'll just fall asleep. And but I'm looking forward to like watching a movie tonight actually. So I'll probably rewatch that all the way through, and then I need another good movie recommendation. They Live. I'm gonna write that down. Where's my little notepad? Alright, The Gate I'll watch tonight. They Live I'll probably get through tonight. And then somebody recommended Evil Ernie that I haven't gotten to yet. Watch The Green Knight. Any recommendations of where I can find it for free? If you have any like immediate good ideas, it doesn't have to be, but I would rather find it on something like YouTube or something. Piracy. See, I don't do that. No, like I did that stuff when I was younger. Now I'm super paranoid about it. I've heard of some horror stories about people. I know you can like watch on servers and stuff that like you can't get in trouble for because they're the ones streaming it. I'm just saying like I just don't want problems. I don't know enough about technology to like confidently go do something like that. But that's just me. I'm living a good civilian life. I do not want any problems with my internet service provider or the government. So I'm sure there's like ways to do it that's like basically impossible to get caught. I'm just saying I'm not that person. I don't know enough about it to it would keep me awake at night. So I kind of like the way this model is turning out. I'm going to probably paint paint a little bag there, and then I'm going to start doing like highlights and shadows by hand as usual. My buddy gave me a bunch of orcs too, like random orcs from like a couple editions ago, and I'm going to try and learn to do like the speed painting side of it. I'm not sure where I might be streaming, unfortunately. Yeah, it's no big deal. But yeah, he gave me a bunch of works, and I'm gonna try and head in the direction of learning how to do proper paint, where I do prime base, you know, then do like the shadow paint that soaks in the crevices, and then highlight. Right, I do want to learn like the faster way of painting in general, and then grow from there, because right now I'm painting like the way I draw, which is like I just kind of get it, you know, I just kind of do it, you know, so I need to learn. It's totally fine as long as you don't try to sell copies. Viruses are more of an issue. Pirated movies are great bait for getting people to download your spyware and malware. Yeah. Most of my friends have never, you know, I have a lot of friends that are into that kind of stuff. That belt really pops. I'm liking the way it's starting to look a little bit. I'm liking the way this is starting to come together. I'm starting to see the potential. Like if I just go into like patience mode and just really work out when I do the highlights, kind of really get you know, detailed and focused. I think I can push this model to be, even though it's not as high quality as Warhammer, I can kind of push everything out of it that I can, and it'll look decent on the tabletop when people are playing Warhammer. Is it my best painting? No, I think the Ruthven and Gretchen, were better. I think I did a better job on those, but those models were just of higher quality, so it was easier to do them better. And this guy is going to be all metallic, like there's a lot of armor, which I kind of really struggle in that area.
Have a poop then a shower? No, it's always way to poop, break down and take the shower. Poop an hour later. I have fucking hate life sometimes. Yeah, that's funny. I hate when I sit down to stream and I bring a coffee with me and I take a sip and now I gotta poop. It's a struggle. It really is. I think I'm going red for the beard. I think I'm gonna go red. What do you think? Like blonde, maybe? It's blonde or red? Oh, you know what? I have three of them. I have three dwarves, so I'm gonna do one red, one blonde, and one black. I think this one I'm feeling like red a little bit. Like he seems like a redhead. I don't really know how you would achieve blonde hair look. I'd have to look that up if I go in that direction. But right now, I kind of want to start doing highlighting these pants and. So brown, dark red, light red, sepia wash, highlight with red, highlight, red, no, red to orange. I don't think I have sepia wash, if that's how you say it. a lot of these terms or how people combine colors to get a certain effect, I'm not really familiar with. CPI. I think the orange. I would have to go out and buy that. I don't actually have orange on me, but I would. Oh no, I do. Orange fire. I do have orange. Never mind. You can use Agrex Earthshade if you don't have Saphia or Flash Wash. Okay. Like I'm putting white in this batch here to lighten it up so I can do like the little highlights on the pant, on the folds of the pants, and it's not getting any whiter. It's the weirdest thing. I feel like I'm hitting some sort of like alternate universe vortex where no matter how much white paint I put in this brown, it like literally just eats it up. This is just the craziest thing I've ever seen. And now it's like really watered down too. I might have to I've never had this issue before. I'm gonna let that idea go for now, and I'm just gonna try and do some. I'm gonna introduce white to gray and start trying to make the gray look sort of more metallic. Which I'm almost debating on whether I should hold off till tomorrow, just because I'm getting kind of tired and I don't want to mess it up to where I can't, you know, dig a hole that I can't get out of. Brown is pretty much what you get if you start mixing all the colors. Changing its value is difficult. You basically need to mix a little brown into other colors, not colors into brown. Okay. I've heard this song so many times that I noticed that every time it plays, it's like too distracting. Which one was it? Gone. I hate that I have another Invictus Warsuit to do after this one. Totally not excited about that.
Yeah, I'd have to look up what an Invictus Warsuit is. But I imagine since you're pretty experienced painter, I imagine they're not super fun. I'm gonna look up what that looks like in Invictus Warsuit. Invictus Warsuit. I see. Yeah, that's a pretty. It looks like a pretty big model. I mean, there's like a Space Marine sitting inside of it, from what I'm seeing. It's got quite a bit of 3D-ness to it that would make it challenging to do. Looks pretty dope though. It definitely does look like it's a lot of effort to get through that model without losing your mind. It's a garbage model with pretty great rules. You don't like the model? I mean, do you like it just like because of what it does in the field? Like it allows you to. Yeah, I fully enclosed my cab. Oh, you can't see the Marine? Yeah. Doesn't it kind of become like a dreadnought at that point? You're saying it had good rules. That is it like really good points wise, like for your army to have? Is that what you're saying? Yep, a dreadnought that infiltrates. Nice.
Hey, Francois, what kind of glue do you prefer to use? Do you just use super glue, or do you use like the actual? A buddy of mine gave me the rest of his bottle. I don't know where it went. I need to find it. I know it's around here somewhere. But do you use a specific kind of glue for your building your models, or do you just like what's your game plan on that? Or like what kind of glue do you go with? I use Loctite gel control super glue for 99%, need plastic cement for some custom stuff like enclosing the cab on the Invictus for example, or epoxy for metal models. Okay. Loctite gel control super glue for 90. Okay.
All right, everyone. I appreciate Francosis Miriam. I appreciate you hanging out with me. I think I'm done for the night. Yeah, I've been streaming for like 3 hours and 40 minutes. I think I'm gonna be done for the night. Appreciate all the conversations and all that. I'm gonna go watch those movies we talked about, and when I watch the Alien movie, we'll have to discuss it, see if we both liked it. I hope it's really good. But anyway, I think I'm gonna be ending the stream here. I'll try to, if I salute back to you, appreciate the military service, and I'll be going for the night. I'm gonna go watch the movies. Peace out, everyone.